Thank you very much, Ilana. Now, the first day of the Oscar Pistorius testimony had very little to do with the events of February the 14th. Instead, we were all given a glimpse into his life with a history of who he is, where he comes from, and the issues related to his disability and his encounters with crime, painting a picture of a man deeply paranoid about personal security, but also as someone who helps victims of crimes, does charitable work, and even helps animals. Now, with us in studio is William Booth, Chairperson of the Law Society's Criminal Law Committee, to give us his insight on the first day of Pistorius' testimony. Always good to have you, William. I guess the first question is that, what was the defence's strategy? Because I remember it bringing out quite a lot of frustration in terms of what I could see on the social sphere. The fact that what Barry Rue was questioning Oscar on had nothing to do with the events of February the 14th. So what was their strategy?
Well, I think one has to look at what his defense is, in the sense he felt under threat. So to build up his perception with regard to crime in South Africa, incidents relating to his family and friends over a long period of time, I think that's important because they want to establish that he felt vulnerable during this whole incident, that his emotional state and exactly what it was.
Yes.
You know, what was going through his mind? Why did he believe there was an intruder, and his reaction to that belief? Why did he then go and get the firearm? Why did he fire 4 shots? So to build up the emotional state, I think that's why they're leading all this evidence relating to his fear on crime, his whole issue with regard to security and all of that.
Yeah. So this all boils down to, I guess, somewhat of in the realm of behavioral science, of what would he have done given his circumstances in past life. But how do you think that would have played out in the way that Judge Masipa thinks about it, and in the way that the court is going to decide whether his actions were reasonable or not?
Well, I think obviously it's important because nobody knows how you're going to react if you believe there's somebody in your home and somebody who might attack you or kill those in your home. So it's trying to persuade the judge. This was a genuine belief because of what's happening out there with regard to crime. You know, people who break into homes don't just break in and walk out with your television set.
Yes.
They sometimes break in and they kill the occupants for no other reason than just doing it.
Yeah. A very big point of discussion yesterday was the apology tendered by Oscar Pistorius. Do you think that Advocate Barry Rue played his cards right in allowing him to have that position and take that stand to give that apology, a very emotional one at that?
Well, look, I think the idea behind it was to say, look, I didn't know it was Reva behind that door. I thought it was somebody else that was going to cause a major problem and possibly threaten his life and Reva's life. So I think that was the stance. I'm not sure if it came across in the right way that it was intended. I think one has to ask the public out there. It's not so much a legal issue, but, you know, did it come across as being genuine? Possibly one should have dealt with this earlier on, you know, at the bail application, had made more of his apology to her and the family, or earlier on during the trial, rather than so much aggression shown during cross-examination. Maybe a softer approach would have been the way. But it's easy to talk now after the fact, and obviously a decision is made in how to deal with the witnesses and cross-examination. So the tactic there was to say, well, you know, that was my belief, and, you know, I would never have done that if I'd known it was Reva.
And very quickly, if you could sum it up, how do you think Advocate Gerrie Nel is going to be taking on the cross-examination? How do you see this playing out?
Well, look, obviously he's going to certainly take up a lot of issues. I mean, there's been a lot of concern about Oscar's whole version of events. He's going to be tackling that and saying, well, why fire 4 shots? Was it really necessary? Why did you believe there was an intruder? And firing 4 shots into a tiny little toilet, was that necessary? Why wasn't there a warning shot? Could you not have called out or contacted you know, the police or security in a different way, dealing with everything? So I think Oscar certainly is going to come under some heavy fire with regard to cross-examination, because Gerrie Nel is going to test the correctness of his version, because the state says it didn't happen like that. This was an argument which led to Reva being killed.
William, thank you very much for your time and your insights. We really always appreciate it. William Booth, the chairperson of the Law Society's Criminal Law Committee, and of course giving us his insights on the second day of the Oscar Pistorius trial in this week. We'll be bringing you more details, updates on the day, and also you are welcome to follow at www.sabcnews.com.